Fyre Fest 2, or deja vu?
We are back with the Fyre Festival controversy. Founder Billy McFarland is insisting the massive music show will go on.
Mexican officials say the festival won't take place in Playa del Carmen in May.
Echoes of anger and frustration as new controversy hits the Embattled Music Festival. With just weeks until Fyre 2, some worry what was billed as a redemption story for the original concert weekend could be headed down the same path. The 2017 event on a private island billed as a once-in-a-lifetime experience turned disaster.
What is this?
Who can forget the waterlogged tents, the fights over toilet paper, and of course, those cheese sandwiches? And right now, it's not clear where or even if the massive music show sequel will happen.
I can't wait for the documentary, Fyre Fest 2.0, because we...
But despite the rumors and doubts, Fyre Fest founder and convicted fraudster Billy McFarland took to Instagram to say the show will go on.
I have an important Fyre update.
Whether Fyre Festival 2 is happening or isn't obviously depends on who you ask. Either way, as we found out, organizers are happy to take your money.
Let's try and buy a ticket for Fyre Festival 2.
Tickets range from about $1,400 all the way up to the VIP bundle at $1.1 million.
The Prometheus package gets you 4 days, fight pit, and a curated itinerary of Fyre experiences.
We want to see for ourselves if Fyre Festival 2 would live up to McFarland's hype or whether it would flame out like the first one.
For $1.1 million, I could live like the gods of Fyre. $25,000 gets me to embrace the unknown alongside some of the most fascinating people in the world. I don't know that I want to do that for $25,000. Well, $1,400 looks like the cheapest. They have boat docking, so if I decide to go by yacht, I'll know where to park.
The order went through, but we've received no information, and there's no customer service number to call, only an email address.
Pretty much the only thing we know about Fyre Festival 2 is how much the tickets cost, because there really haven't been any artists announced yet.
My family says I'm insane. My friend group thinks it's pretty cool, though.
I don't want to jump to any conclusions and start, freaking my mom out going to Mexico, for random festivals.
20-year-old Asa Maker and his friend, 21-year-old Teo Lebordenek, know how lucky they are. The pair scored free tickets to Fyre 2 after Asa's little brother reached out to McFarland himself. They're still waiting on details, too, like where to book their flights.
I want to be fully confident that when I arrive in Mexico that there is a festival that I can attend.
There's a lot of uncertainties.
The issues this time around appear to be all about location. Originally, the weekend festival was billed for May 30th to June 2nd at Isla Mujeres, Mexico, near Cancun. Only problem, the town's tourist board denied any knowledge of the festival, telling The Guardian, for us, this is an event that does not exist.
What's going to happen? Because we've been here before and it led to a sham. The question is this sham 2.0?
So organizers announced Fyre 2 would actually be held a couple hours south in Playa del Carmen. Except now, officials there are denying involvement too. McFarland fired back on social media, posting these supposed tourism and environmental permits on Instagram, along with what he says are receipts of payment to the government of Playa del Carmen. McFarland wrote, Fyre has been working directly with the government of Playa del Carmen and their officials since March 5th, 2025 to ensure a safe and successful event. All media reports suggesting our team has not been working with the government of PDC are simply inaccurate and based on misinformation. McFarland, who served prison time for fraud over the first Fyre Festival, had promised there would be an announcement by now about performers and celebrities.
If you and your friends want to ATV through the jungle with the Super Bowl champion, if you want to swim with the sharks with a pop star, or if you want to learn MMA on the beach with a UFC champion, DM me and I will personally help you and your friends get set up.
So far, the only act announced is former football star turned rapper Antonio Brown, who famously ended his sports career strangely walking off the field without a shirt. 8 years ago, the original Fyre Fest was supposed to be the hottest event of the year. An ultra-luxurious music festival set on a remote island in the Bahamas, with luxury accommodations, gourmet food, and top musical artists like Migos. Major Lazer and Blink-182. Models and influencers like Kendall Jenner promoting it online, Bella Hadid and Emily Ratajkowski posting on white sand beaches, and Instagram fantasy come to life. Posts they later deleted.
A lot of people ultimately want to live like a baller. You know, they want to have a taste of this rich and famous lifestyle that people very quickly wanted to sign up to get a similar experience.
But Fyre Festival quickly went up in flames.
Oh, Jesus!
The massive failure even chronicled in dueling documentaries on Netflix and Hulu.
There were a few different vendors who dropped out. For everybody, this is a red flag.
Turning comments off entirely so that you wouldn't have 3,000 people saying, hey, I don't have my flight information.
In 2017, a $100 million class action lawsuit on behalf of attendees and festival workers was filed against McFarland. It has since been settled. McFarland was charged with defrauding investors out of $27 million. He ultimately pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud in 2018, and he served nearly 4 of his 6-year sentence in federal prison. He spoke to my colleague Michael Strahan in 2022 after his release.
A lot of people consider you to be the ultimate con man. What do you consider yourself to be?
I was wrong. So I messed up, and I was so driven by this desperate desire to prove people right. I had these early investors, backers, employees, and I think I was just so insecure that I thought the only way to prove myself to them was to succeed. And that led me down just this terrible path of bad decisions.
The judge called you a, quote, serial fraudster whose fraud, just like a circle, has no end. Has your fraud ended?
I think that's an extremely accurate description of my behavior. And I think this time around, it truly is more important to me to build trust and relationship than any long-term ideas of success.
If McFarland does fail, he'd open himself up to both civil and criminal liability, probably even higher forms of liability, because he knew what he did wrong in the past and committed those same acts again.
So far, it has been a bumpy ride, and like Asa, we're left wondering what's in store.
If Billy can really follow through on everything he promised, then it would truly be like an amazing, amazing experience.
If, we were promised these things and it doesn't happen, that's robbery.